Hey guys, this is Tandrake and I am back with another episode of Sorcery Part 1 and 2. We're going through the gate. You step into the shadow of the enormous gate. The ruins of walls line the path either side, but these are walls built from blocks the size of ox carts. Centuries ago, these must have been a palace of a king 12 feet tall. Now it has been leveled and the stone stolen for the field walls and the foundation of the villages all around. I'm going to investigate the ruins. Okay, you take a moment to clamber over the ruins and off the path until you're surrounded by waist-high grasses. Grasses? I don't know. That to me looks like grasses, but I don't... yeah, whatever. The ground rises and falls sharply around the outlines of the houses and buildings. You trace the line of a street, wide enough to run 3 carts abreast, that leads quickly downhill towards a forest. Once this place was rich and plentiful, what happened here to remove every last trace of these colossal people? I want to look inside a house. You stop by the edge of a house. The side wall only stands as high as your knee. Grass nods above it. Looking inside, you can make out the edges of the fireplace, the back wall and an adjoining area. Perhaps a grain store or a bedroom. Searching the grass. You take a few moments to search around through the long grasses and find nothing until your hand closes on a clay pot near one wall. It's shaped. It is in the shape of a wine jug, but about 3 times the usual size. Around the neck of the is a red stain, wine or maybe blood. It is impossible to tell. The base of the pot has been smashed away, perhaps by age, perhaps by someone unhappy with the contents. You leave the pot behind. I'm going to follow down the street. You follow the line of the street down the slope of the hill. The further you go from the path, the more overgrown the ruins become, until you can barely make out their outlines at all. After a while, you are not following the street at all, but simply holding to the same line. You approach the edge of the thick woodland. Zoom out. Stupid mouse. Okay, so we came down there. I didn't even scroll, motherfucker. Let's go to the woodland. There's no clear path and the street has disappeared from view. The ground is the going into the trees is difficult, but you push your way forwards as best you can and stop when you come across a large standing stone. Another gate? Look at the stone. You go over to the stone to examine it more closely. Not a gate, it is an idol, a gigantic stone head carved with deep open eyes and an open mouth. Around the lips is a dark red stain, the same as on the pot. Looking left and right into the trees, you start to see more stones, more idols with open mouths leading off in both directions. All face back towards the ruins, as though forming a wall or an approaching army. Something terrible happened here. Look inside the stone, inside the mouth. Stealing your courage, you slide your hand into the mouth of the idol. It's so deep. Okay. It's so deep you reason something must be concealed in there, and sure enough, your grip closes on something hard but light. Treasure, perhaps. You pull your hand out to see what you're holding. Nervous, you open your palm. Teeth. Gigantic teeth. You are holding 3 giant's teeth, perhaps. Every idol holds the same, or perhaps the other idols hold kneecaps, arm bones, jaws. You press on. Trees and thorny bushes snag at you as you walk past. and eventually, after chopping and hacking your way through, you see a space ahead, a path. You push forwards and then stop for a breath, grateful to have solid ground to walk on once more. What a waste of time! Can I? I cannot. Wow, that would have been a waste of time as well, really, wouldn't it? Okay, you walk for several hours, following the twists and turns of the path through the trees. And suddenly you stop. You've heard a noise up ahead. Something is moving around between the rocks and the edge of the path. Wait and look. You hang back watching the trees. There is definitely something moving around. Something large and long with a tail that whips between the trees. But now that you've seen it, you're at a disadvantage. You're at a definite advantage. Fight! Bring your sword to bear. Charge! The rat. Gotcha. Okay, this is not good. Gotcha. Okay, so it did kind of crash. So maybe I should have left it alone. Ah. Good. Good defend. If I full on attack now, this should kill him, yeah? Yeah, no, it didn't kill him. I take 1 damage. Finish him. Lowers its head. It was gonna go for a light attack. Oh, okay. You risk an attack, splashing through the mud. You race into the rat bear. Then your sword slips between the creature's ribs and drives deep into its putrid heart. The rat bear squeals and falls to the floor, face down in the mud. 10 stamina lost. Shameful. I was screwed. With the beast dead on the path, you were free to move on. I couldn't do much about it, I must admit. I shouldn't have attacked it, really. The path winds a few more times into gigantic trees, around gigantic trees thousands of years old, and then emerges onto a sudden plain, as if the forest had been scoped away by a gigantic hand. A river trickles thinly between short grass, and by its banks stands a tiny village. I'm gonna enter the village. Today has been punishing, but with decent meal and night's sleep, your next day will start. Okay, whatever. Find an inn. Oh, I've got none. Tumble down building with mats spread across the door and a kitchen range that fills the air. You tempt her, all willing to work for a place to sleep, yeah. Oh, it's this feet just you fools. Wait, sorry, I wasn't thinking. You pass along the main path through the village and pause outside a hut in which several of the hill dwellers are sitting and eating. They seem deep in discussion about something. Several are shaking their fists in the air, lifting back the canvas flap. You step inside. The hill dwellers stop talking immediately and look you up and down. One gets to his feet and gestures you forwards. You step forward, then one of the others calls something in their native tongue and points at your side to where your sword hangs out below the hem of your cloak. In broken common tongue, the first man croaks, "No weapons," and he indicates a table by the door where you can leave the blade. You unfasten your sword belt and leave your weapon on the table. The hill dwellers nod to show their appreciation and then beckon you to sit with them. They continue their conversation just as animatedly as before, speaking in a local tongue that you cannot follow. But as they talk, they pour you a drink and provide you with food. They seem quite welcoming. This is their talk. As you eat it, you listen, catching a few words here and there. Goblins, arms, Cristantini, whatever it is. They seem to be concerned about one of the other villages in the hills. What are the goblins doing? Are they being armed by villagers? The men shake their heads. Slowly you piece together the story. The group seems quite sure that a horde of goblins are planning an attack on Kristantaniti, which is apparently one of the wealthier spots in the hills. They're discussing whether or not they would be whether it'd be worth helping the village to defend itself, which might mean they are offered some kind of reward. I will help them. You must help them, you declare earnestly. Kristani, whatever it is, I'm going to call it Chrissy. It does not help us. One of the men points out, "They are rich, we are poor. You can be better than that. You can be better than them." The men nod, swayed by your ruthless logic. "And you? How do you fight?" one man asks. "I serve King... I will help those that need it." The men nod. "Let the goblins attack tonight," they cheer. "We will use our strength." The evening draws to a close. The men thank you for your concern and leave one by one. I want to... Mouse! Don't be a douche. Wait. I have taken the longest way around. Where am I supposed to be going? It's just to go up the mountains. That's where I started, yeah? Yeah. I'm supposed to go up into the mountain. I've got a long way to go, I can tell you that much. Explore the town. At least I got some food out of them. Halfway along the track, you come across a couple of merchant huts. You have no money, so you browse briefly. One of the merchants catches your eye and smiles. "Well, traveller, what is it you need? Is there any work to be had here?" The merchant sizes you up. "You look like a good worker to me. One of my friends needs some digging doing. I'm sure he will pay you and feed you for it." "Digging what?" you ask. The merchant shifts uncomfortably. "Doesn't matter. You'll find out." He stares at you. "So?" he asks. He looks over his shoulder at the path. "I'm going that way myself. You coming?" Fuck it. Let's follow the merchant. Let's go dig some shit. He leads you up to a house on the edge of the village and introduces you to the householder. A stout man, I was going to say. A stout man who is probably incapable of lifting a spade, let alone digging with it. "I'm ready to get started." Spades out back, he replies with a jerk of his thumb. You walk through the man's house into the garden. The smell is terrible. The job is not just to to dig a new cesspit, but to dig over the old one. And it's going to be several hours' work that'll probably take the whole night. You collect the spade which stuck in the ground by the hole. Start digging. You begin digging a new hole and tipping the earth into the old one. The ground is hard and the smell from the pit is enough to make you gag. After you've been working for an hour or so, the owner of the household brings you something to eat and pays you 3 gold pieces for your efforts. Work faster. You wave him away, determined to finish the job quickly, but it takes all your strength. Did I just lose? Okay, whatever. As the long night wears on, you grow more exhausted. Finishing just before sunrise, you grab a brief moment of sleep, but it won't be enough to refresh you. You dream strange dreams as you sleep. It seems as though you wander through the doors and hallways built 10, 20 times your height. You are an insect in the halls over which you walk. Of the hills which you walk are the follicles or whatever of hair on the shaved chin of a giant. Storms of hot, fetid breath seem to sweep across you. I don't know what that means, by the way. Threatening to blow you down into hell. Overhead, you fancy you hear the flap of giant wings. The birdmen came for the crown. Perhaps before this journey is finished, they will come for you. We're all fucked up. You rise early, thank the innkeeper, and head out into the street. Within a few minutes of walking, you are out of humps, and back onto the road. After another hour or so, the way breaches, with one path heading into the hills and the other turning downhill and along one side of the barren stony ridge. Is that a village you can make out on top of the hill? It seems a lonely place for it. I guess they go the same way, but if I go down the hill... I'm not going to the mines, so... The gentle upward slope becomes a steep climb, and you are forced to rest several times. So far you have been walking through the foothills, and now your journey will be more serious. When finally you reach the summit and can look out over the low plateau you have crested, you see the path runs through a small settlement of cruddy-fashioned huts. The villagers are out in the street talking and working. It seems a happy, bustling place. Approach. There seems no obvious danger. You approach along the path until you are close enough for the villagers to notice you. The effect is immediate. They begin to scurry inside their huts as if you were an army and not a lone traveller. You cannot help but notice what a sorry bunch they are, squat and short, and all limping strangely. Their bodies are thin and malnutritioned, and as they disappear through the doors, you notice some are missing limbs. Stop and knock at the door. You knock on the door of one of the nearest huts. There is no reply. Try another hut. I'm not going to enter a hut. You approach the next hut. From inside you hear murmured voices, so you enter. The hovel is tiny and poor, with no furnishing or of any kind. A small fire burns in the middle of the floor, and by the far wall a family of 3 cowers from you. The woman lifts a shaking hand as if to hold you back. Hold out a hand of friendship. You put out your hand to greet the man. He shuffles over nervously and grasps it with feeble strength. Are you magical, stranger? Are you not afraid of us? Afraid of you? Never. But friend, he replies, don't you know we have the plague in this village? You spring back from him, but it is too late. You can feel the infection on your palm of your hand like a curse. Why didn't you warn me? The man looks at you with wide, sorrowful eyes. I dared to hope, he whispered. You take another step back in fear and regret. You have but a few days. Use magic! There is no question. You must do what you can for these people. Cast a spell. Just 1 second there. Lightning, perfected force field. One times your creatures we control. Makes creatures extremely clumsy. Creates fireball. Up. Fuck's sake. I can do that, actually. Is there a heal? Wrong one. I'm not even gonna read them unless I can do them. Okay. Fuck. Well, there's only one thing I can do. I'm dead anyway, technically, so... Nope. So it's not an F. Can't do it. No point in that, is there? FRG, let's try D. No, that was... Dock. You try to bind the enchantment but are missing an item that is needed and the spell dissipates around you. Fear overtakes you and you race out the door and do not stop running until you are clear of the accursed village. I'm going to end this episode off here with me plagued and dying. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like... thank you guys... Fuck. I fucked my intro, my outro. Fucking hell. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. There we go.